3 years in May.
All right, so as you know, we have 3 different perspectives, 3 different marriage stories, and then a starting marriage journey. And so I want to start with Asia, because you have the longest, I guess, longevity as far as being married. Tell us about how you and your husband met. The short version.
Are you calling me long-winded?
No, I was thinking about your husband, but you never, go ahead.
Me and my husband Terrell met in college. I don't know how a Californian made it to the country of Oklahoma, but yes, we met in college 14 years ago, and we've been together for 13 years.
So, did he approach you? Did you approach him?
You said no, long story. Okay, so short, long story. We met in the caf. Well, obviously he paid attention to me before I knew he was paying attention. I have tunnel vision. So the second semester of our freshman year, we met in Burger King, because that was like the hot spot on campus. And he was with a friend, and his friend said something goofy, and then he offered me food. And at that time in college, and you spending your Langston bucks, which was on that little card. I was like, well, he's spending his Langston bucks on me. He's a keeper. And then I, like, oh, let me get your number. He had a pretty smell. Oh my God, all white to the top, was just gorgeous. So that's what kind of got me. I just
Been inseparable since.
Inseparable since.
Tell us, Millet, how did you and your fiance meet?
At the time, I did not eat meat, and I was taken to a barbecue, and he was the one doing the barbecue, and he wanted me to try his barbecue, and I said no thank you, and he just didn't understand why someone would come to a barbecue and not eat barbecue, and so he just turned around and walked off. And after that, he orchestrated with my friend for me to go swimming at his apartment the next day, and the rest is history.
Like that. And then Michelle, how did you and your husband meet?
So we met freshman year at the Jackson State.
Okay.
And I used to have a problem texting on my phone a lot. Anyway, so he came up to me one day and he was like, hey girl, I can help you stop texting. And I'm like, 25, whatever. And then like every day, hey girl, I can help you stop texting. I can help you stop texting. And then became my best friend. And then, I know, we got together in 2009 and the rest is history.
Love that. So I want to ask Michelle and Asia, what makes a marriage work?
Communication and money and fun. I think those are the most important things to me.
I like that.
Interesting. I would definitely say communication is the key to make a marriage work. Dating, you have to court each other. Do not lose your spunk in your relationship. And intimacy is very important, whether you do want to or not. Intimacy does not have to do with just sex.
So, going back to what you said, Michelle, about your husband kind of gradually always seeing you, making contact with you, and then it leads to the point where you guys are now being interested, and then he finally says that I want you to be my wife. How did you know that he was the one?
I knew that he was the one back in 2009, before we started dating. Just one day, it just snapped. So he was always my best friend. We were together every single day. And I was just be like, well, your daddy's so fine, your daddy's so fine. And then one day I was like, oh my God, you look just like him, you fine. The very next day, he was walking me to my dorm, and I looked at him and I was like, oh my God, I love him. And that was it. I knew in that moment, I knew at that time that he was my husband. Nothing ever changed. That was before he even asked me to like be his girlfriend. So I just knew.
Asia, same question. How did you know that your husband was the one?
Quick funny story. When I took him home to meet my parents,
Okay.
and Dad grilled him as soon as he walked through the door, rest in peace, he said, why you got an earring in? Why you got a grill? Pull your pants up. He was not even really sagging. It was just like barely. So I was like, oh, he's going to break up when we got back to school. So just to see how he handled that peer pressure, or not even peer pressure, how he handled that pressure with my father, of his just trials and tribulations and obstacles to date me. I was like, yeah, Dad likes you. And Dad, he would literally go home to be with Dad and leave me at school. So I said, yeah, this got to be.
You know, like, yeah.
He gave me butterflies instantly. Like the first time we actually sat and dated, I never forget our first kiss. It happened in my dorm room, by my door. My chair was by my door, and I sat in his lap and gave him like butterfly instantly. Like I was like, oh yeah, this child is under right here. It's something about this one right here. So
Memory.
Right.
That's your memory.
that memory, out of all, he may say I don't remember stuff now, but
You remember that.
I remember that.
Listen, Millette, I want to ask you, being a fiance, what is the difference between falling in love and then staying in love?
I would say falling in love is insecurity. It is a trial and tribulation, trying to figure out your comfort zone, figuring it out. Staying in love is the fun part. There's no safety net because it's not needed. It's knowing that you are secure, that both of you have made up your minds to not go anywhere. So even when you do have the headbutting moments, you know that you're going to get through it together.
Yeah.
Because we've both made up our minds. And it is exciting because then we are free to try more things together. Because we don't have to worry about if this is going to end. We now know this is the future.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's work. It is work. It is a lot of work. Because even though you know that person's not going anywhere, you still have to remind yourself. Because I am an only child as well. So I do have those moments of like, if it's not my way, then I don't want to be bothered with it. But that's not love.
I like that. Very well said. Asia, being a married woman, I want to ask you, do you think that married women should have or hang out with single friends?
My friends do not. Yes and no, depending on the person.
Okay.
For me, I have several single friends and I have a lot of married friends. I know with my married friends we can do a couple things. My single friends I can go girls' night, but I can do both with either one. And I don't think their behaviors are going to do anything for my behavior, so I don't think it's a problem.
Okay. If anyone else opposed, do you think married women should hang out with their single girlfriends?
I agree with what she said, but I also feel like it's a balance. You have to make sure that you balance the time that you're spending with those single friends, because who you be around, that's what's going to come into your ideology. That's what you're going to think, even if you try not to. Subconsciously, some of those ways that they think, the way that they act, you may start acting that way. And you have to remember that you're married and you have to carry yourself a little bit differently because you have someone else that's extended with you.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends that are single now either were married or never been married, and we have kids. So that's another dynamic that throws that in there.
Yeah.
You know, we got girls, so daddy don't always go to play dates.
Makes sense. You know what? You brought up children, so to piggyback off that, I want to ask you. You have two beautiful girls.
Thank you.
Hey, girls.
They look like me.
I want to ask, did children change your marriage, and if so, how?
Well, that's a tough
And
Did children change my marriage? Of course, because now it's not just two, it's now four of us. And at first, you know, before the 2-year-old that decided to come out on the freeway came, it was 3 of us, and it was a little more feasible to do things, and now we have these 2 beautiful girls. So, you know, date night is a little bit harder, but we have to be creative. And going on trips, now you got an older one that's like, well, where's my passport? You know, so things you still have to find balance. I still have to make sure my man is happy and he knows that, hey, you have your time and your time comes first. But we have 2 little ones, so they kind of get time too, a lot of time.
yeah. So, and then Michelle, mother to be.
Hey.
Tell us about this bundle, this bun in the oven. How did you find out? Are you excited about it? I'm sure you are. I'm excited about it. All right.
So I found out right after I went to a tequila festival.
Have fun.
It was very fun. And I'd taken a couple of pregnancy tests. We've been technically not trying to not get pregnant since March. We got birth control, and we knew we were prepping for third, fourth quarter this year. And so 2 months prior to, we kind of were trying, and then nothing was happening. I was taking pregnancy tests, and I was just still overweight. And so then I went to the movies with Millette one night, and then I was telling her, I said, I think I'm pregnant. And I was like, but I refuse to take a pregnancy test. Like, I'm not doing it because I'm not going to just find out that I'm still overweight. And so I talked to my sister on the way home. She's like, girl, you pregnant? I know that. I feel it. So I took the pregnancy test, and literally in 5 seconds, it said I was pregnant. Like, immediately. So I was like crying and laughing. I was excited. I was scared. My whole life was going to change. I immediately told my husband, and he pretended to faint because he's dramatic. He then pulled out a suitcase and pretended to pack like he was going to leave me because he's dramatic. And then he told everybody in his family. So we both are super excited. It has been a very emotional first trimester, but things are so much better now.
I'm excited for yours.
Girl, first trimester. Girl.
I want to go to you, Millette. I want you to share during the dating process. Is there an obstacle or a challenge that you had while you were dating your future husband? And then how did you guys move past that challenge?
So I would say the challenge was me. I was a challenge. We were later in life. I mean, we're not young children, right? I'm about to be 34 next Tuesday.
Happy birthday.
So, I mean, I had some habits.
Yeah.
I had some habits. I had some baggage. Life happened. I mean, you know, that happens. And I have been conditioned again on top of me being an only child. So I'm now, love is literally being a servant through your heart for someone else. So I am having to learn it's not about me, and trusting that he will make it about me. And so I don't have to be left in the wind. That trust is deep. Like, that is hard. When you have no trust, you have no trust in yourself. You don't have trust in your environment, and you are still trying to figure out who you are as an individual. Or actually, you're trying to be confident in who you are as an individual. You figured it out, but now you have to be confident with it. And so that was a challenge. I was a challenge. Now, he was a challenge in his own right, but I can only speak from me, from my heart and what I was dealing with. And he loved me through it. He loved it out of me. Like, he made it to where there was no choice but to trust him. That was the only option. There was nothing else. And he never judged me. He always was by my side. It may not have been by my side the way I wanted it to be by my side. But he was. I always joke and say, God gave me the man I needed and not the one I wanted. Because he's shaping him into the man that I want, but that had to be done while we were already in this place. So that's what the challenge was. And I will say prayer. Prayer and having a good circle around me, a support system. So going back to the marriage, right? Should married people hang with single? I say yes. Because if it hadn't have been for my married friends who say, okay, there is light at the end of this tunnel. I'm praying for you. I'm standing in agreement for everything that you want in this relationship. I can't guarantee that we would have made it as far as we had. Because I believe that if I would have only listened to my single friend, then I would still be in that state. I wouldn't have been able to grow as a woman and as a friend. Because when you are in a romantic relationship, I believe that you become a better friend as well, because you are able to give more listening. Yes. So that was the biggest challenge, and that is how we got through it. Through love, prayer, and a strong support system.
And that trust.
And the trust, yes, cannot forget the trust. The trust is probably the biggest.
I want to ask you both the same question, because we know that marriage is not easy. No matter if it's been 3 years, 10 years, or more, what was an obstacle or challenge that you guys faced, but then you got through it?
Oh, girl.
No. Well, child, let me tell you.
I think growing pains, if I could just sum it up like that, growing pains is an obstacle in itself, because a marriage is not cookie cutter, and it's different for everybody, every couple, every spew that you can think of. So for us, I don't know. I would say probably this year, and when really the obstacle, I just say became an entrepreneur, like full time. I was not gung ho. Don't switch my electricity. What you doing? I don't want to be Green Mountain. And then when I got that bill, I had to apologize. Like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know their race was this low. You know, I thought we was turning the world into a better place. And then just to see that made him different. You know, it brought out a spark in him. Yeah, it brought it. I always knew I had a hardworking man. He wouldn't have made it to that if he wasn't hardworking. But it was a light that shined within him that I knew. All right, you better get on board. You know, you're gonna have some real problems. So I think letting him just be his own man. You have to be a very supportive woman because I think we are the rib of the man and their backbone. Behind every strong man is a strong woman. So the obstacle of getting on board because even though I'm not the only child, I am the baby. So I have a boss attitude mentality, and then I have I don't even know why you trying this. You know, this don't make no sense.
Yeah.
So that was our obstacle. And we got through it. You know, once I seen the coins come in, it was nothing I was playing.
It was easy after that.
No, I mean, I just seen a different man. Like, my husband in college, he had a moment where he just didn't trust people. You know what I'm saying? And then when he got around people that he built relationships with and can make money with, it was just like this newfound husband. But damn, you fine. Hey, it's a new you. How you doing? So that's what happened.
I love that. Michelle, same question.
So I was trying to think how honest I wanted to be and what story I wanted to tell. But our biggest thing was an obstacle we faced this year. So finances is super important to me. If you know me, you know I like money and I talk about it and I'm a hard worker. And one of my biggest things about getting married, and me and Tori was together for 7 years before we got married, because I wanted to make sure you can stand on your own 2 feet, I can stand on my own 2 feet. And I've seen so many marriages around me and relationships break up because of finances and people not having enough money. And so I wanted to make sure, number one, that was my problem. So this year, Torian, my husband, he preaches about being debt-free, no credit cards. I'm all for that. I'm all in this role. But he made a financial decision without me, an expensive one, and it just kind of went against everything that we had been working so hard for. Like, we've been paying off 6 figures worth of debt in 2 years. Like, we've been on it. So the fact that you go and you kind of take a couple steps back, I felt, number one, hurt because you didn't come to me. You didn't even consult me about this. You don't need my permission, of course, but you have to at least consult and communicate with your wife. And the fact that you didn't do that told me like there was some trust things going on, or you just didn't want to hear my mouth, which you probably would have. So anyway, that was a huge obstacle because I was taken back by the whole thing. And we had to recalibrate. And we had to come to the table and be like, all right, if it's over this amount, this needs to be a discussion. We need to talk about this. You don't go behind my back, I don't go behind your back. And I also made him pay for Dubai. And that made it all better. So there we go. But it was tough.
All is forgiven.
All is forgiven once it was repaid. But it was
Like the key was communication.
That's the biggest
They
thing.
didn't communicate with you was what really burned your business.
I mean, I maybe would have still now. But you still could have given me the opportunity to
Right.
instead of just going ahead and doing it. Yeah.
I want to ask you ladies, being in a relationship, marriage, when do you or how do you find time for yourself? Is it important to even be with yourself at some point?
Heck yes.
Yeah. How do you guys do that?
Sometimes I'm nice, sometimes I'm not. But I'll let him know, like, look, I need me time. Like, go in the office, go to your friend's house, go play the video games, what you gotta do. I just need a moment to myself. And it used to be like me going out for brunch, that was my moments to myself. But since I've been pregnant, I've kind of become a little bit more recluse. And I just really enjoy private, quiet time. And I'll tell him, like, hey, say whatever you gotta say, but these next 3 hours, this is my circle, this is my time. If I wanna binge watch TV, that's what I'm gonna do. So I don't know, I tell him don't take offense to it, and he doesn't. And he tells me when he needs his time, and I respect that, and we just give each other space.
Yeah, makes sense.
I'm in a hybrid relationship. That's what I call it. He spends 2 weeks out of the month in Mississippi and then 2 weeks out of the month in Dallas.
Okay.
And that has been the entire relationship almost. And I have my me time during that time. Yeah, right. It's the only. I will say though, it is an adjustment when he comes home.
Right.
Because I am very particular. I may slightly be OCD.
Mm-hmm. Me too. It's okay.
No, you are.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, so that is probably the difficult part. But again, because we don't have a safety net, I just don't. Whatever. Can I do it? Yes, it's not a big deal. I just rearrange.
Yeah.
So.
You, my child.
What?
You
What
have.
is me time?
What is me time with
Yeah.
children, husband, work? When does Asia have a moment?
The bathroom. Yes, Lord. No. I don't know. I try to hide out in the bathroom sometimes and play like I don't know the word mommy because my 2-year-old, she can't find me. Where my mommy at? Mommy, and I just play deaf for at least 5 minutes. Like I can't hear her, and I know that may sound wrong. I'm not a bad parent, but you just have to find those moments. Going out, girl time. This is like a mommy moment. Or this is my time because there's no one here.
Yeah.
Say put that down or do this. Babe, can you? So just trying to get away, either being with my girlfriends, get in a hot tub, quiet, sitting in my car for a minute, just anywhere I can find me time by myself or with my girlfriends where I don't have responsibility. Let's say that when I have to really be responsible for nobody else, that's my me time.
Yeah, you can just be still.
Yes.
I love that. I want to ask you ladies, now, we have all very strong, powerful men in our corner that we consider our husbands. Do you think it is important to help your husband achieve their goal? Who wants to go for it first? She goes, I'll drink my water. Do you think as a wife it's important for you to help your husband achieve their goal?
Not only do I think it's important, I think that it's imperative.
Okay.
Whether we succeed at it or not, it is my responsibility to support him. Now, I may not give 100% all the time, but I always come back around and I let him know, we got this. You want this? Let's find scripture. Let's pray on it. Let's work towards it. Let's work our butt off. And then if this doesn't work out, we'll just find another avenue. We'll just find something else to do. But I think it's important. I remember, so y'all are in multi-level marketing. My husband is in multi-level marketing, and he has been in many businesses.
Yeah.
And the most recent one, I was just like, boy, don't come to me. Talk about no $200, $300. I don't want to hear it. And I felt like God checked me because this is what he sees as his way of getting me out of working 10, 12-hour days or working year-round, nonstop. He sees this as an avenue to get us multiple streams of income. And who am I to not support that? So I had to come back and be like, nope, I got you. This is what you want? Let's put it on the wall. We have this vision board wall that we update. Let's say we're going to get here by this time. We're going to do this by that time. So I remember, though, when I didn't give my 100% in that last venture, while he still pushed, his attitude was kind of lackadaisical.
Yeah.
Because he kind of felt like I wasn't right there in this corner. And then as soon as I came back, the fire came back. So I think it's very important.
She like,
Okay, I have a very alpha male, entrepreneur, strong mind. Like, this man is brilliant, and I realize it. And the things that he thinks of do not make sense in the real world. But when you sit down and talk to him, he has all the pieces to where they do make sense.
Organized.
Yes, and it's the only reason why it doesn't make sense in the real world is because it hasn't been done yet.
gotcha.
The problem with that is, for me, is that I come from low self-esteem. We're gonna be honest, so let's be honest.
Yeah.
I had to learn, as I keep going back, I had to figure out who I was. And he helped me do that. But in doing that, when you deal with that alpha, he can be overpowering. Because you haven't found your alpha yet. So where I'm trying to find balance is, how do I support his dream? Because it is my belief that we are made from the rib. So I'm supposed to have his back regardless. but I need to also make sure that I strike out on my own. So I can't let his dream and his goals overpower who I am as an individual woman. And it's trying to find balance between those two worlds of making sure that I have his back. Because at the end of the day, when the world beats him up, he has me. And my job is to be cheerleader, comforter, whatever the title is, that is what I am going to be. But how do I not let that overpower and take and drain, not drain in a negative way, but it does take energy.
Right.
And so how do I let that leave energy for me and what it is that I need to do? So that's the current season that I'm in, is finding that balance. And I'm finally catching my footing. I'm getting to the place now where I know how to be his cheerleader, but I also know how to be my cheerleader and not lose myself in him.
Yeah, come on.
Because at the end of the day, it's his dream, and I have my dreams.
Right.
And I do believe that God is going to bring those dreams to be on the same path, but they aren't right now. And so I just have to make sure that I don't lose my footing with that, and don't lose sight of who I am and all the hard work that I've done in myself. So, yeah.
That's important because, and I talked about this in my previous episode where we talked about being married, being committed, being engaged in the relationship, but also being able to maintain your individuality is truly important in a marriage, because you can get so caught up and wrapped up into what your spouse maybe have going on, whether it's the wife or the husband, that you forget that you had a passion, or you forget that you had a dream. So I think I'm on board to where you're saying, to what you're saying right now, and that I'm glad that you're finding your path, your footing.
Yes.
Is it important to help your husband?
It's absolutely, wholeheartedly important to support his dream, because not even just because you are his rib or his better half. Men have egos. I'm just gonna put it out there blatantly. You have to feed into his ego in the sense that he loses his self, he loses his speed, he loses his self-esteem if he doesn't feel that you appreciate his drive and what he's trying to do. And I think me being an alpha woman, it has been a tug of war, because even though you don't think I'm supporting you, I have to come back and show you, here's my receipts of when I supported you and you didn't see it. But I do support you, and I have to support you, like you said, at a distance, because I finished school and I'm not where I want to be. You have taken another path of where you want to be since we left school. So yeah, I still encourage you, go for it. Go for the meetings, go full throttle, find you some new business partners, do whatever you got to do. Drive trucks, do it all. You know, build the empire you want us to have. I don't want to work every day. In fact, I get every day I wake up, I just want to work half a day. But I know that in the long run, I have dreams too. So I push him as hard as I can, and I make sure I'm his better half in that. But at the same time, you know, I have to humble myself, because I know if I come off too strong, it's going to tear that ego down in what he's trying to build. And I don't want to do that. I don't want him to think that, oh, she don't support me in my dream. No, I support you 100%. But in the same breath, I don't want to lose me trying to support you all the way and do everything you do, and I haven't accomplished what I want.
Yeah. And that's time that went by. Yeah. I get you. I love that. I want to ask you guys, growing up, you know, now that you are married and you're about to be a future wife, did you guys see any long-term marriages or committed relationships growing up that allowed you to see a good marriage, that made you want to be married? Like, for example, myself, I've been married almost 9 years. However, though, I did not grow up in a family of seeing committed marriages. I didn't grow up with the mom and dad being married, or anybody in my family there pretty much being married, so I did not have a blueprint of what marriage should look like or how you should be in marriage. But ironically, I would say that I have a successful marriage. Now, did I see things that growing up as a kid that I did not want in a relationship that made me say, that doesn't feel feel right. That doesn't look like love to me. Or a man shouldn't do that to you. That's something that I don't want. Like, so I took that away, saying that I don't want those things. But did you guys have to see a marriage growing up?
I think all my daddy's brothers are in long-term marriages. Like all my aunties been around since before I existed. And then my parents were married 43 years before my dad kicked the bucket. So it would have been their 51st year of marriage this year, or last weekend. So I did see that. Now, did I see, and I learned from them, like, what I should do. You never should argue in front of the kids. I don't even think they, he would say, now, Sam, and they take it in a room, and you don't hear nothing else. But, I mean, I seen a lot of stuff that you want, you know what I'm saying, like opening doors, stuff, just little, the fairy tale stuff. But then, too, you also see, like, the finance. Now, you spent what, and you didn't talk to me? I've seen that, and then I've seen people be, date forever. And I'm like, the forever went out the door. Y'all still dating, but I've learned that different strokes for different folks.
Anybody else? Parents married? No?
My parents have been married for, I don't know, like 35 years, something like that. So, same with her. On my dad's side, everyone except for I think one, and he's one of 14, are all still married. They've all been married over 20, 30, 40 years. My mom's side, a lot of them are still married to the same person. So I saw why. I always knew I wanted a great marriage. Yeah. And the things that I did see that I didn't like, I always said, all right, is this something that you can deal with in a marriage, or is this a deal breaker? So I took the bad things, and then I took the positive ones, and I said, this is what I want. This is what I want my marriage to look like.
Yeah. So my parents just celebrated 50 years in October. Yes. That was really exciting. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. And they would, not only were they just celebrated 50 years, but they were married for 16 years before I came into the picture. So they also really got settled in marriage. So I say that to say, yes, I saw pieces of how I thought marriage was supposed to look. My parents sheltered me from a lot. So there's a lot that I did not realize that went into marriage. I just thought it looked pretty. Because they didn't argue in front of me, like none. So I didn't hear the finances. I didn't hear anything. So to me, all I saw was the love, right? Yes. Which is good. Yeah. But it also has a downside because you don't understand the work that goes into those good times. So I had the experience of witnessing that, and then I went off on my own and did the complete opposite of how I was raised. So I got to see what that looked like. And then that brought me to the mindset of, now what does that look like for me? What do I actually want? And thankfully I did have parents who truly taught me love. Like, what is love? Love is not, like my dad flat out told me one day, love is being a doormat sometimes and accepting it. And waking up the next day knowing that it could be totally different. And it's all about your mindset. I'm a huge daddy's girl. So to hear that from him, that woke me up and was like, oh, so tell me more. What was happening behind those closed doors when the shower would come on at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and everybody would still come out fully dressed? So that is when I actually started learning that dynamic of, okay, you respect your man, you wholeheartedly do everything you need, but just again, love. Yeah. Making sure that you are always doing things out of love, you are coming from a place of love, you are speaking out of love. And especially when you are in front of others. So, yeah.
And then to piggyback off that, I've never, ever, my uncles on my mom's side, uncles on dad's side, my parents, they never disrespect each other. Like, they never voluntarily spoke. I know the millennials, we have potty mouths, and we don't know how to argue. We cut deep and go below the belt. I've never seen them do that, and I know I can do it.
To each other,
in front of each other, in front of company, to each other behind doors. I've never seen them cut each other deep, because some wounds you can't heal when you're saying with words. You just can't put those pieces back together. So I know, and I've seen some people argue that. I was like, no, I don't want that. I don't want to be confrontational.
Yeah, that's when you learn how to get the look.
now that's me. Like the
that peach underneath the face.
Honey.
But I mean, I've learned that concept. It could be because I was young and silly and like, you know, thinking hang it up in your face and you calling back would be okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm learning to be quiet. Now I'm learning to be more humble and okay, I'm gonna wait till I get in the car and knowing that tit for tat is not going to be what's going to solve the problem.
Right.
If I say something, you gotta say something back, and then I gotta say no. You're not, because at this point we're not listening.
Mm-hmm.
You're listening to respond. You're not listening to hear me.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's the biggest misconception in America. You can't, or the biggest problem people think about listening. Oh yeah, I heard you. No, you didn't hear me. You didn't. You heard what I said, but it went like this. It went one ear out the other. So now I'm learning to just shut up, because I know my mouth can cut, and it's not pretty. Not even with bad words.
Right.
I'm just saying like I know I'm quick. And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even say that. I'm sorry, I apologize. So if you see me, I'm sorry for whatever, I apologize. But I'm learning. I'm a work in process.
Progress.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to ask you ladies, counseling. Have you guys done counseling in your marriages, or are you doing counseling before you get married? Do you think it's important to have counseling during the marriage, before the marriage? What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I say, coming from a person who jumped the broom and didn't do the big fiasco, we went to the courthouse. Yes. But I think now, like I said, because I think when you marry somebody, you don't fully know them. You know them as you grow with them. You know, it's we dating, that's different. We move in together, that's different. When we marry, it's a whole nother ballgame. You know, it ain't no walking away. You walk away for a couple of minutes and come back.
Right.
So now I would say, heck yeah, marriage throughout, because you're going to have obstacles. It's a roller coaster. Marriage is a roller coaster. You're going to have that moment where you climb that hill, like they say. You get scared, you're nervous, not ready for that drop, then you come for that drop, and you have to brace yourself. You have to prepare yourself. So I think there's a growing pain regardless, and just coming from the counseling field. Counseling is great because you have a third party that's non-biased to either side. Find somebody who don't know y'all. That way they can give a honest answer. So yes, before, middle, end, any problem, go see somebody else.
Yeah.
Pastor and a counselor, put it all together. Friends can always give good advice. I'm sorry, I'm done. True story.
I agree. I did premarital counseling and I absolutely loved it. I would love to keep going to counseling. The Tori was just like, okay, this is enough. But I do feel like tune-ups are very important because here's my thing. I'm a super alpha female, so if I'm not saying it, I'm holding it in. It's kind of bottling it up, and then I kind of explode. And you be like, what? I just didn't take the trash out. So I like to talk to people about those things, and that's why I feel like girls' nights are important, because you can just let it out.
Yeah.
And sometimes just getting it out.
And there's no judgment zone.
Right, and that's why I feel like a counselor is even more important, because then they can give you a great response. That's going to let you know which maybe was at your fault or something to think about, or where his mind frame may have been. So.
And activities. They give you activities that'll be beneficial that you wouldn't think of.
Yeah, I loved it. Also, I feel like counseling helps me a lot, because there was a lot that I saw as a child in my parents' marriage. There was a lot that I went through, and I felt like I moved past it. And then if Torian said something or she asked a certain question and responded a certain way, I'm like, that reminds me of something I saw when I was 10. I don't like that. Let me back up. And so it helped me realize you have some deep-seated issues that you didn't even know affected you. So let's go ahead and get these out. Let's talk about it. Why do you feel this way, and move past it. So I don't think I would have been able to address those things and overcome them if I didn't have someone that pulled that out of me that I didn't know was in there.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
I'm definitely all for it. Going back to the self-esteem issues that I used to have, what got me past that was going through counseling and having a counselor who actually looked me in my face and said, "You realize your thought process is all jacked up, right?" And that just was like, oh, it is? Because you're so trapped in your norm, right? Your norm is not going to be the same as someone's norm, or even a healthy norm, but you think it is because that's all you know. So I can only see that being that much more needed when you're dealing with two individual humans. Like, humans are different. They're individuals. You don't know what to expect all the time, even when you think you know them.
Yeah.
So something may be interpreted one way, and then what you're trying to get across is completely different. And I think that can be that safe space to have someone and not their ego be in the middle of it and help get that across and communication and just building healthy habits together.
Yeah, healthy habits together. I love that. Speaking of healthy, I have to read this exactly how I wrote it, so I won't mess up anything. But to what extent do you look to your spouse to meet your needs, to meet your expectations, or to bring significance and meaning to your life? Is this healthy or unhealthy?
It depends on how much you're leaning on them to give you significance in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able, when you get married, you become one, but you don't want to lose who you are in that process, like we spoke about earlier. So for me, I lean to him for protection. I will take your lead if you're being a good leader.
Mm-hmm.
All men don't lead well in everything. They don't. One person doesn't do everything perfect. Only God. You know, we upstairs. So for me, it just, I want you to protect me, protect my heart. Not necessarily, come out the bushes when a robber comes in. You better do something, but for my heart, protect that, because I'm an emotional person. I may come off like sometimes, but I wear my heart on my sleeve. With anybody, if you rub me the right way, you got a loyal person in front of you for a lifetime. Like I don't wave when it comes to people I care about. So if you protect my heart, that's really what I need you for. I'm simple. I like expensive stuff. Love me for me. Accept my flaws and all, and take the journey with me, wherever I may take you, good, bad, or indifferent.
I like that.
Y'all make that so special. Well, you are.
Anyone else to add to that?
So I had trouble with that.
Okay.
I've always felt like I've been an independent woman. Even when I was like younger, I just always had that get on my own mentality. So I really, really struggled when I first got married, because I had all these old people telling me subordination is so important. You gotta make sure that you're subordinate to your husband, blah, blah, whatever. So let me tell you, I went from one end of I'm an independent, bad woman to completely subordinate, and it was killing me.
Yeah.
Like, whatever idea he had, I was down with it. Whatever he said, I was all for it. And it was tearing me up inside, and I was like, I was starting to cry to myself, and I'm sitting here thinking, number one, he's not always right. Number two, some of his ideas suck.
Yeah. So did you think that that's what it meant to agree?
Kinda.
Yeah.
So my parents been married for a long time. My mama has always been a great Christian lady. My dad not so much. So no matter what happened, she was always just loving, forgiving, understanding. No matter what was done, I'm praying for you. I got it. So I kind of was trying to take on that whole thing, but then I was completely miserable, and I realized we're not traditional. I'm not my parents. You're not your parents.
Yeah.
And I can't just shut up. I've got to tell you, you're driving us in a hole. Like, you're making some mistakes.
I just cannot.
So I literally just cried out, and I was like, look, Jesus, this ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
I was starting to get in the car and ride around, and I wasn't going nowhere, just wasting gas. Like, I felt like I did. So I said, okay, help me find the balance. So then I started finding smaller things where I can lean on him for, take the trash out, or you cook dinner one night, or you plan date night, or just smaller things like that. And instead of giving him all of me and giving all of my reins, I just started depending on him for just certain little things, and then still taking back some of my control so I wasn't losing myself. But there we go. It got better.
You got better.
Much better. Thank God.
I see, I struggle.
Can I say
Yeah, go ahead.
I think with the subordinate thing, I struggle with that word, like they were saying on 979 the other day, that should a woman be submissive to her man or not? And so that kind of reminded me of what you said. And submissive is a word that, don't sit well. Maybe you kind of pull your collar back a little bit. I don't think you can't be submissive. You should be, but I also think submissive is a compromise, right? It's like a give and take. I bring 100, you bring 100. We put our 100 together, but you can't tell me I gotta do everything. I mean, I understand in the Bible it says, you know, follow your man and he is the leader, and he is.
I
But
think that was the Old Testament.
amen to that. Amen to that. I have to take a water sip. But no, so when she said that I think that's being an alpha woman now, being the voiceless person I am now, that's kind of the power struggle I have. Like, I want to feed into you, but don't forget about me. Like, see me. Like, I notice things. You change your hair, you cut your dreads off. You lost weight. I gained your weight that you lost. You know, now I'm trying to get my sexy back because you sexy.
Yeah.
You got to feed into me, make me feel how you feel. So I think it's a compromise in a marriage, and I think a lot of people don't see that because you marry somebody to make you better, not bitter, not less than, not weaker. So I think that kind of goes both ways to your question.
I agree.
You want to add to that topic? I feel like
do.
I feel like you got something. Give it to us.
So you can ask Shoda. I'm different to a certain degree.
Okay.
In case y'all haven't picked up on it.
Right.
Just in case it's a secret.
Yeah.
So I do believe in submission to a certain degree.
Okay.
The way that I believe it is, my mom always taught me, and this is something I'm so grateful to this woman for. The man is the head, the woman is the neck. The man cannot turn his head without a strong neck.
Amen.
And the head never realizes the neck is doing the turning.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I am an alpha female now. I have not always been.
Mm-hmm.
I have learned the art of influence because of me being meek in my relationship, and now not being meek. But I have learned how to influence him turning his head, and I'm able to do it in a way to where he's appreciated, his ego is in place, and if not higher than what it was. Right. On top of, he doesn't even realize that I'm doing it. By doing it that way with who I have, he pours into me without even realizing he's pouring into me. Just because it's like, I feel so good, so let me make sure that she's taken care of. So I have learned how not to be so vocal and how just to influence without really even saying anything.
Yeah.
And that is my form of submission.
Yeah. I like that.
I'm going to take from that.
I'm still working on that.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I had to. I mean, and we pull from each other because me becoming an alpha was because I had an alpha who was like, no, ma'am. I was like, no, ma'am. No, you're okay in the way you're thinking. So I mean, that's what a village is about, right?
Yeah,
Sure,
absolutely.
Y'all want to sit?
Are y'all available next weekend? Okay. Listen, I want to ask you guys, this is the last question. Finish this statement. Marriage is, what would you say?
The greatest decision I've ever made.
Come on, that come through.
I was just telling my friends, I have this Instagram bestie girl that I only met one time years and years ago, but we are literally Instagram besties, and she just got married, and I was like, this is going to be the greatest adventure.
Yeah.
It seriously is. If you have someone that is your best friend, yeah, you may have some downs. Yeah, they may get on your nerves, and you may slap them around a little bit. I kid. But you really are going to enjoy it. I love my marriage. I couldn't imagine not coming home to him or him not coming home to me, so it's fine.
Yeah, I like that.
Marriage is a mirror of real love and friendship.
That's so sweet.
Well, because I mean, the thing is, love is a word that is abused and it is misunderstood. So when I'm talking about love, I'm talking about what the Bible says love is. Love is about forgiveness. Love is not keeping.
Does not practice.
It doesn't, and it's not keeping record of wrongdoing.
Yeah.
Love is truly putting someone wholeheartedly before you. So love, I mean, and we are in a world where it's all about self. So we are having to go against the grain in marriage and in this union and do what the world is saying is not normal.
Yeah, because the norm now is what, side chicks? Or side men? That's not normal.
Yeah.
It's not what it should be.
And me. So it's love. Marriage is a reflection of true love.
I like that.
What you got, girl?
Come on, give it to us. Close us out, lady.
Oh, closing.
Close us out. What you got?
No pressure.
That's a real question. I would say love is a roller coaster. It is a experience. It's a beautiful thing. It hurts. It's work. It's challenging. And a marriage is empty until you make it full of love. You cannot, your marriage don't start off full.
Right.
It's a box that you have to pour into. The people are the people you have to add into that box, and the adventures you add into that box, and the creations you make along that way, and those journeys and those memories. That is love. Laughing when you, I share. Love is riding down the street 4 miles away from college with no AC in the middle of the summertime, singing from Oklahoma to Texas songs that y'all know. That's love. Making each other laugh when you cry, you know, walking in the bathroom when they're on the pot. That's love. Smelling your unforgiveness, you know, just being happy with each other with nothing to offer when you come together is love.
I love that. I love that. I love that. These ladies have definitely been truthful in their marriage journey. They have been very transparent and really been honest with their different perspectives. The mommy to be, the fiance, and the veteran, been in the game 10 years of marriage. Guys, I know you have definitely learned a lot. Hope you take away what you can, all this value that they definitely put on the table. Give us some hearts, give us some love, tag a powerful couple that you know. And ladies, thank you so much.
Thank you. Hopefully we have a part 2.
Cheers, 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 guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed the Millennial Power Couple Show, the wives segment of The Truth About Marriage. We'll see you guys later.
Peace.
Happy New Year!